Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming ahead and joining us today for today's coffee talk. Today I have with me James Alba. We're at the B Hive Organic Salon. We're going to talk a little bit about what it takes to go green or be a green salon. So I want to go ahead and thank you so much for having us in your space.
Thank you, Tanya.
It is absolutely beautiful. One of the things that we spoke about the last time when we spoke a little bit was really talking about how you go through the consultation process, you really educate the client about what it's like to have organic products. And we kind of noticed that it doesn't really affect the bottom line at all. So what I want us to do is really get down and dirty with the numbers, shall we?
I like it.
All right, sounds good. So I know that your website says that 20% of new business attributes to the interest of clients who want to go with organic services. Talk a little bit more about how that impacts your bottom line.
I think clients now are more ingredient conscious overall. Obviously, Amazon bought Whole Foods for a reason, and there's all kinds of reasoning for people to want to go to Whole Foods. But clients themselves are seeking out alternatives, and I know we had talked a little bit about in the last video, allergies and medications and things in their lifestyle. I would always say for us, the organic moniker is more about health and wellness overall. So I would call us a lifestyle brand over an organic salon.
I do like the way that that sounds. I feel like that would definitely open you up to a larger audience because again, like for someone like me, I have no idea, or prior to, the last two times we've met or the last two videos that we've done, I didn't really have that much knowledge until I started researching, but lifestyle sounds, I like that.
It's true. I laugh because our clientele, mostly women, probably 90% women, 10% men. So when a husband or someone comes in, the first two things that they're surprised about is number one, seeing me. They're always shocked. They expect to walk into a hair salon and all the women
you're behind
are
the chair. You're behind the desk at the front. That's awesome.
And there's no smell. So because we're a clean air business, no formaldehyde, no ammonia, especially besides the cleaning products and things we use, those are the first two things. It's like, hey, this doesn't smell like a hair salon. It's like, I know. So it's always an interesting thing for us.
Absolutely. So if salons were looking to go green, what would you say are the first three things that they should do in the business?
They're the easiest things to do. Things that you should do anyway, whether you want to go green or not, is change your cleaning products. There's no reason to clean a bathroom with ammonia, and there's no reason really to have ammonia in your hair color. Plants are always good. Not only do plants look nice, they help to filter the air that you breathe. We, as a salon overall, have the health and wellness of our staff in mind first. So I know that might sound odd for everyone. Sorry, clients that may be out there, but it's really their health and wellness. You have to figure if you are a 6-week hair color client, you might get your hair dyed 8 or 9 times a year. If you are a fully booked stylist, you might do 8 or 9 hair colors a day. So the cross-contamination of the products that you work with is gonna just be exponentially so different. That, think about it this way, if that's 1 year's worth of hair color for one person, and the stylist works 200 days a year, that's 200 times the exposure then you get. So no offense, we like the clients that like the good products, but it's really about the staff and the people that work here just as much.
I have never looked at it in that aspect. I think that that is absolutely amazing that you think about the people that you hire that are here. Almost sounds like it's kind of like a family atmosphere.
It is. We are definitely a beehive.
Oh, look at that. I like that pun. I love it. So how costly do you think that it would be to switch for a business?
It's expensive. But we would always consider ourselves a disruptor in the hair industry anyway. We are never going to do things the normal way. Part of it, I don't know, undiagnosed ADD maybe that's rearing its ugly head now that I have 3 kids. But the disruption of the industry is what we're all about. It is very costly to make a switch. But I also feel that stylists are so stagnated in what they've been doing all along that it's the perfect timing, as long as it matches with your brand. So your internal salon brand has to match just as much as the vendors and the companies you may choose. But it's about time that hairstylists said, hey, we're educated, we're entitled to raise our prices, we use better products overall. And that's really gonna make the switch. If you're using the worst of the worst hair colors, which I won't name names, even though we're getting down and dirty.
Yeah, we're getting down and dirty. So.
But if you're using the worst products that are possibly out there and you're charging XYZ for your single process, you'd have to definitely raise that price if you want to go more natural. But you probably should have raised your prices anyway. So it's sort of the catch-22 of just saying charge what you're worth. I know you've probably had talks about that before, but believe it or not, that plays into the sustainability of your business, of your staff, of the products used. It's not just about greener products.
One thing that I have noticed, and leaning more towards my generation, I am a millennial, right? And one of the things that I have noticed is that predominantly people who are millennials or people that fit my demographic, it is all about the lifestyle, as you talked about, right? That nice lifestyle, but also at the same time, everything I hear is organic that you had mentioned to me earlier. What type of demographic do you have in your business?
Hair color usually is going to be someone that's of hair color and age.
Okay.
We do see some younger clients that seek out our specific business because of the lifestyle side, as you mentioned. But what's really interesting, I know we're sort of leaning into Earth Month. We just got back from Manhattan yesterday. I'm a founding advisory board member for Social Impact 360. So if you guys get a chance, check out SI 360. You can find them online. It's 22 university students or 22 colleges that have student representatives that come in, and they're all about the disruption of these big companies. So Google is there. Here's what's so funny, right? Google, Tesla, 7th Generation, and the B Hive, among a bunch of other really cool people. So here's this little international award-winning local hair salon that's part of these bigger names.
Yeah.
But these millennials and Generation Z kids are so into this lifestyle and standing behind a brand that they want to know so much more about it. So some of the things that they came up in the panel about being green and some of the creative ideas, you were like, wow, I think I'm pretty green, but these kids are like, whoa. But when I told them that they, by next year, will make up 25% of the population, they'll also have $600 billion in buying power, they were floored. And I said, so you're gonna decide what companies make it and what companies don't make it, and what policies you want Amazon to follow or whatever big company to follow. You're gonna be the decision maker. And I think that they were a little impressed by the fact when I said $600 billion. But
I was just about to say, I'm pretty impressed by that.
and it's only gonna go up, so.
Right. Interesting. So I know that on your website you had described 4 different categories that you guys live by and kind of bring those items into your business. What are those 4 categories, and can you tell me a little bit about each one?
Sure. We actually started a project called the Salon Movement. You can check us out there too at Salon Movement. We work with about 1,800 salons throughout North America. We would consider it more of a best practices, even though it's founded on the sustainable aspects. So from our opinion is that obviously you should have green practices in your business to make you sustainable. But if your staff is not educated, your business is not sustainable. If you don't partner with the right brands that you carry, retail is sort of a touchy thing for me. I do some of the education on retail sales. I find that retail, obviously with Millennium and Meevo too, retail is a definite indicator of how much of an expert you are as a stylist. So for the stylists out there that say that they're not salespeople, you have to understand that when I look at these numbers, right, your MA200 reports and all these fun things that you guys pull or whatever software you use, when you pull these numbers and you look at it, your retail sales are going to be a direct indicator of your rebooking and your retention. There's no way that you could come in and say, I box dye at home. What do you think the best hair products are for me or the best shampoo to use? And say, wow, that was the best hair color and the best cut I ever got. I had a great conversation, but I don't trust that person at all with their shampoo recommendation. Just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So retail plays a big part of it, and community outreach overall. I always say that our name, the name the B Hive came from 3 facets, right? The retro hairstyle, so the funky old B Hive, bees and their importance to the planet, and the community aspect of bees working together in a hive. I mean, to think about 80 or 100,000 people working in one office. I don't know how many people are in your office. We're a staff of 12, but imagine 80,000 people working all with the greater good in mind. It's sort of crazy. So our community outreach is definitely a big part of that.
Yeah, I think that at one point we were at 12, B Hive. We've grown over the years, but I do like the aspect of that you kind of outreach to the community as well. So I think that's an amazing thing as well. I know that you also do a lot of charity work as well from what I was able to see. So it's nice to see that you guys are also included inside of the community. That's amazing, sharing that knowledge, but also, contributing. I know that you had shared something with me a little bit earlier about how you guys were in New York and then sharing the different businesses. So I think that that's amazing. Amazing things that you guys are doing.
All good things. I mean, we don't want to just be a role model in ingredients and eco practices. We want to try to show our clientele, our staff, our kids, that there are ways. I mean, think of how many people you touch in the hair salon, right? It's one of the only professions that people pay you to touch them. Doctors, dentists, hairstylists, massage therapists, that bond, why not show them there's a better way to do things? If they're happy clients, they should be able to get behind some great projects that you do, and sometimes that support is just what you need.
So I want to go ahead and I want to thank everybody so much for joining us today. Go ahead to make sure to like and subscribe at the bottom. Make sure you go ahead and turn on that little bell so that you can go ahead and hear when the next one's coming out. Make sure to also follow James at the B Hive Organic, and that's a B with just a B.
B.
Perfect. Well, we look forward to seeing you guys again real soon. Bye.